Welcome. You are listening to the Alpha Beta Chronicles, presented by the Queer Hermit. Stories of loyalty, strength, and the bond between Alpha and Beta. Settle in and enjoy your time with Dad. Character profiles for a land and a love. Both untamed. Robert, a broad-shouldered, muscular man in his late 30s with thick black hair and a full beard flecked with gray. His chest and arms are covered in dense, dark hair, and every inch of him shows the strength of a life of hard labor and discipline. Robert is methodical, self-contained, and deliberate in everything he does. He is a natural alpha, steady, firm, protective, and unshakable once he gives his word. He carries his life in his hands and his plans in his mind, always prepared and always thinking ahead. The trail, the hunt, and the firelight are his sanctuary. He is tender only to the one who earns his trust, and his love is expressed through guidance, protection, and the sacred act of bonding. Donnie, a wiry, younger man in his 20s, with quick movements and an expressive face that rarely hides what he feels. Life has been hard on him. His frame is lean. His eyes carry both curiosity and the shadow of past hurt. Donnie is resourceful, alert, and resilient. But at first, he is untethered, unsure of his place in the world. With Robert, he slowly learns the strength and trust and the freedom in following. His loyalty and warmth come alive under Alpha's care, and his true self emerges in the quiet of campfires, trail miles, and sacred bonding. Together, Robert and Donnie are the living embodiment of a true Alpha-Beta bond. Robert leads without ego, protects without possession, and claims his Beta as a partner, not a thing. Donnie follows without fear, submits without shame, and finds strength in the shelter of his Alpha's presence. Their world is built on respect, trust, and the sacred moments that bind them on the trail and under the endless western sky. Alone, they survive. Together, they live. A land and a love, both untamed. In the decades following the Civil War, America pushed westward, chasing the dream of wide-open land, freedom, and the promise of starting anew. The frontier was a place where the rules of the East no longer applied. Men redefined themselves in this raw land, and with no eyes watching but the trees and sky, they could live according to their own truth. This is the setting for the story of Robert and Donnie. It is a story of the land, yes, but more than that, it's a story of identity, of power and vulnerability, and of what it means to belong to another man. Not as property, not as possession, but as truth. Robert Anderson is the kind of man who carries the world without complaint. He doesn't need to speak to command attention. His presence alone does that. Raised in hardship, hardened by honest labor, and refined by solitude, Robert moves through the world like a mountain, quiet, immovable, and solid. He doesn't ask for respect, but he earns it. He doesn't chase what he wants because he understands that real things come with time and trust. And while he's not a man who wears his heart on his sleeve, his love, when given, is unwavering, full of depth and steel-strong tenderness. Donnie, on the other hand, is still finding his way. Life has chipped at him, left him bruised but not broken. He's clever, quick, and resourceful, but unanchored. What he lacks in certainty, he makes up for in curiosity and quiet resilience. He's not used to being cared for, let alone claimed, but some part of him has always longed for exactly that. Not to be ruled, but to be seen. Not to be owned, but to be held. Not to be told who he is, but to be given the space to become it. They meet on a trail headed west, both men journeying towards something unknown, something better. What begins as a chance crossing of paths becomes the start of a profound bond. Theirs is not a story of dominance and submission in the way many imagine. This is about Alpha and Beta as archetypes of complementary strength. It's about what happens when one man leads without ego and another follows without fear. It's about trust, safety, and a deep-rooted connection that reshapes both men from the inside out. Through their bond, we'll explore not only their personal journey, but a larger truth about how human relationships work, then and now. In an age where masculinity is questioned, redefined, and sometimes misunderstood, Robert and Donnie's story brings us back to a time when survival depended on knowing your place beside another man, and understanding that strength comes in many forms. As this story unfolds, you'll see how Robert gently, firmly teaches Donnie what it means to submit without losing self. How Donnie, in turn, teaches Robert how to soften without growing weak. Theirs is a love not built on fantasy, but on the kind of honesty that only comes when the world outside is silent and the only thing that matters is the fire between two people. This is the beginning of their trail. Thank you for spending time with Dad in the Alpha Beta Chronicles. If you enjoyed this audio, please like, share, and comment. Come back next week for the next chapter.